The Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience 3M Open DraftKings picks and preview. If you missed out on the Pat Mayo Experience Listeners League, good news for you. You can play next week. I release my first look shows on the weekend. That is the first place that the Listeners League pops up. And you're probably going to want to get in on that because it fills up pretty quickly. Filled up by like noon on a Monday this week. All 6,667 spots. You can always find the link to the Pat Mayo Experience Open in the description of the podcast and video. You won't find it now because it's full. Also, smash the like button for the episode and tell me your favorite sleeper for the 3M and rate and review the podcast. All stats that we talk about on this show today are from fantasynational.com. If you use promo code Mayo or fantasynational.com/Mayo, you get yourself 20% off. Okay? Joining me on the line, he's back after a 1 or 2 week hiatus. He just missed out on the big money last week. It's Ben Rasa from awesomeo.com. What's up?
Not much. Yeah, you said it. It was a bad Sunday for me. I was really set up well. Still some good things, but Willett and Finau did not get it done for me late on the weekend.
Well, Finau still ended up as like the 5th highest scorer, I think.
Yeah, at least he got some birdies. Willett, not so much. But you know what? You're not going to see me complain about. I love those conditions. I like DFS when it's really hard like that. Totally my speed.
Well, should that be, I mean, we have the PGA Championship coming up. I have no idea if that's going to be like easy or hard, but I would expect the US Open to be pretty difficult. Like, would that change your game plan? Like, if you had known, let's say that all 4 rounds played as difficult as Sunday, or even half as difficult as Sunday did, would you then turn around the emphasis and put it all on placement points over like birdie makers?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, part of the reason why I thought I had a pretty good amount of, or chances for really big success was I built correctly in terms of correlating to how difficult it was going to play. I thought it was going to play harder than most. So I built accordingly. Like you mentioned, the percentage of points that come from placement points are so much higher in an event like that. You don't need to worry about streaks and bonuses. And it's just a little different lineup construction.
Yeah, I had a 6 of 6. My main lineup was a 6 of 6, and it did not do well, Ben, because no one was good.
Yeah, I mean, in a week like that, it's the first time you can really say that all year. Having a 6 of 6, it's of course important, but it doesn't guarantee you much. Like, you have guys on Sunday who are getting you, a couple points legitimately. Like, that's about it. So you needed some placement points up there. And, obviously Rahm helped me a lot. I liked him quite a bit, and he was able to hang on. That would have been a disaster if he blew it.
Yeah, I just wanted Ryan Palmer to blow up. That just never came to fruition. Let's talk 3M, though. TPC Twin Cities. We're back to a much easier venue, although it's back to a full field of 156 players from the 132 last week. So the 6 of 6 percentage was like 7.5% in the Millionaire Maker last week. Expected to probably drop back down to like 3% this week. And if any of the chalk bust, then we're in a lot of trouble here when it comes down to it with that 6 of 6 percentage. But the talent gap between the top end and the low end at this field is so stark. And really from like the top like 5 players to like this like little tiny middle tier, then there's everyone else in this field. How do you think people are going to build? Is it going to be like 2 guys above 10,000, then a bunch of scrubs? Or do you think that people will try to go balance with names they at least like recognize and that they know are pretty good in the 9s and 8s?
I feel like normally people's first impression when you get a field like this is stars and scrubs, just because there's not that much of a difference between like the mid 8s and the mid 6s. So DJ, Finau, you mentioned the big names up top, going to be really popular. And then I don't know how low people will go. Like you said, when you get to the very bottom, there are legit names I've never heard of. I don't think people will do that, but I do think they will go as low as they can while still getting, I guess, tour regulars, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, like, do you think the more common build is going to be like, oh, I'm going to take Finau and Fleetwood and then figure out the rest, or I'll use Wolf, Henley, English, List, Rogers, Homa, like that kind of lineup?
No, I think it'll be the first, where it's like, I'm going to take 2 of the superstar players in this field, and then I'll use like Tom Hoagie and Taylor Gooch and guys like that who are, they're filling out the back end of your roster. They might be your 3rd man in, but at least you know the name. And how different is that to a guy like, Sam Burns and Norlander and Redmond? We're going to get there, but I think that's the strategy for most people this week.
Yeah, well, the big one I think for me is, there's a lot of like weirdo names in the field, like Chris Fuck Yo Couch. He ended up withdrawing, so that wasn't good news whatsoever. But then we got replaced with Daniel Get to the Chopper, which is one of the best nicknames I think I've heard in quite some time. But if we just go to the very top end, Dustin is by far the most expensive player. He's $11,500. And I just want to have a DJ discussion before we get to the rest of the guys, only because I think he's by far the best play, even at this price.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't know exactly what I could say that would deter. It's hard to argue against that. Yes, he was terrible last week, but that means basically nothing to me. We've seen him bounce back from missed cuts and win. That played incredibly difficult. This will not. The guys right below him are either equally as questionable or just not as good. So I get it. It's just, how much DJ do you want to allocate? Are you going to take 100% and build elsewhere? Do you want to go around the field? Or, of course, you could come in underweight. It's just hard to ignore him. Clearly the best player despite what was a really bad showing last week.
DJ has 3 wins in his career coming off of missed cuts, which is pretty good considering that DJ doesn't really miss the cut all that often, that he just bounces back right away. It's like he used all of his earnings for winning like 12 consecutive years on tour and invested in one of those Men in Black machines that he gives himself after a bad performance, and all is good again. But like, this is a perfect course for DJ, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he should be able to just decimate off the tee. These are easier to hit fairways. He can get to the 3 par 5s. We saw, I know we only have one here, but Wolf kind of, I don't want to say he's a poor man's DJ, but at the same time, I see the crossover skill set. So I think it's a good spot for DJ.
And then the rest of the $10,000 area, it goes Brooks at 11-2, Finau, Fleetwood, and then Casey. Those are the top 5. Casey's going to be the most popular, I think. Well, actually, you can never say that Casey's going to be the most popular with Tommy Fleetwood lingering around, even though he hasn't played at all. People just, oh my God. People just love using Tommy Fleetwood. Although he's $400 more. I love Casey here. I think this is a great setup for him. Brooks is going to be the interesting one because no one is going back to Brooks after last week. He came out and said that the knee hasn't fully recovered. He's $11,200. He's super expensive. I don't love him, but if you wanted a leverage play, like he's going to be far lower owned than basically like every one of the next 15 players.
Yeah, and that's going to be something, clearly I think you got to monitor. He's got more risk. He also didn't look good, and it is concerning. But if you're telling me, I'm getting a 1/4 the ownership or something like that comparatively, I obviously will move some shares there. I'm with you with Casey. Like everyone, I would like to know exactly what happened on that 12th hole last week. But other than that, he should, in theory, be fine here. And Fleetwood, we just haven't seen since API. That's a long break. Not saying he can't play well, but it's just a big, big mystery.
Fleetwood or Finau? Because it seems like people want to go back to... This is a much better course for Finau, for one thing. But like that's got to be a devastating weekend. And then going to this location, playing WGC next week, going to PGA Championship. And it looks like he's going to be incredibly popular.
Yeah, it's not a great sandwich spot. As I said, I was on him last week. He did everything. He putted really well. He had his chance. I think I'd probably rather... I'm going to have exposure to probably all of these guys in some capacity, but I think I would rather go down to Casey or even Fleetwood and just maybe save some ownership, save a little salary. Nothing against Finau. I'm just not in love with the spot overall.
Yeah, so for me, Dustin's going to be my play. I don't know if I'm going to go like a lock button 100%, but I'll probably take like, out of 20 lineups, I'll probably play like 15 with Dustin in them and just hope he can kind of roll. Because I didn't bet him, and now he's actually dropped to 11-1, which is kind of nice. But it just, these are the type of tournaments where DJ just shows up and wrecks people a lot of the time.
Oh, no doubt. He's a guy that I've a couple times in situations like this. St. Jude comes to mind. Couple years ago where he just showed up. He was clearly the best play and he just destroyed. He can do that. So I wouldn't fault anyone for honestly locking DJ this week. It's that kind of thing. But at the same time, Brooks and these other guys you're going to get a fraction of the ownership. And in their own regard, obviously, they're still world-class players.
I think Brooks, yes, you'll get the fraction of the ownership, but I would expect Fleetwood, Finau, and Casey to all be higher on the DJ.
I think people are going to try to take DJ in one of those three in a lot of lineups.
That's tough. You need to be so good at the bottom to do that.
Yeah, I have I don't know how exactly people are going to build with their third man in those builds, but if you take DJ and Paul Casey, you're left with 7,100 for 4. That's manageable. I don't love the build personally, but I think a lot of people are going to do that and figure out the rest.
All right. Well, let's go to the 9s then. It does seem like a lot of people are either going to the very top or gravitating in this range. You got Bubba at 9-9. Wolf, the defending champ, at 9-7, coming off a really good week at Memorial. Both those guys coming off good weeks at Memorial. Glover, Henley, English. Henley had been playing fantastically before taking the week off. Just continues to strike the ball so well eventually. I mean, he saved himself with the putter round 1 at Workday, and then the putter went away, but the ball striking took back over. That's kind of par for the course with what you want from some of these ball striking guys. It's not going to be there every single round. And then Harris English, people are back in on Harris English. Everyone was in on him at Colonial, and then he kind of fucked everyone for like 3 weeks. Now everyone's back in. But like, how do you manage the price increases with these guys? That's the hardest part for me. Like, I see Bubba. Like, Bubba was awesome the final 3 rounds at Memorial, but he's also just jumped up $2,500 in price.
Yeah, I mean, the sticker shock, that's, to just go back for 1 second, that's why DJ has such appeal. He's basically at that price in almost all fields when he's playing well, whereas these guys, you find them in the low 7s in a field like Memorial. So it's just something you have to manage. You have to just realize the overall field quality is different. You got to look for upside. Guys like Bubba, of course, Henley as well, for me, they can win tournaments. So like, I don't worry about the price as much. Someone like Harris English, it's a little more concerning, but that's just kind of how I operate. I don't really pay $9,000 for him.
Do you have like a specific lean in this range? Because I might just go with a Wolf and just roll it back.
It would probably be Bubba for me. I was hoping that you were going to say Bubba, considering you're the Bubba Whisperer. He was just really solid with the ball striking and the results. When you look at it from actually results oriented, it hasn't been great, but I was really impressed at Memorial. If he can do what he does, anything we get with the putter is a bonus at this point. So I think he sets up the best. Not in love with the range as a whole, though.
Would you go Henley or Glover, do you think?
Probably Henley. I think he's a little closer. I know he's a Bermuda guy, but I don't worry about that much, to be honest. And the ball striking has just been so good. I mean, it was insane at Honda, and then we had the long break, but it came right back after Heritage. Travelers and Workday just crushed at tee to green. So another guy, if we get something with the putter, that's just a bonus.
Yeah, past 24 rounds for Russell Henley in this field. He's first in approach and first tee to green. Like, he's a hard fade, but he's also Russell Henley. Like, I worry about him when I take him as my $6,900 player, when he's like a core member of my like expensive end. It's a bit tight.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be your second man in, and that is brutal, which is why, again, to me, I'll say it, I think people are going to try to jam 2 above him and then just omit this entire range in a lot of ways.
So I think, from what I'm hearing from you, is that I think that there's 2 ways that you can kind of go contrarian with this. One is take Brooks as one of your high-end guys, which I don't know how comfortable I am with, or maybe just allocate, like I said, if I'm going to play like 20 lineups, or even if I'm playing a 3 max, use 2 of them with DJ and figure out the rest from there. Like DJ, Casey, move on. Or then allocate one of those 3 lineups to like this balanced build, just because it doesn't seem like anyone's going to have it. Although I still don't know who to take.
Yeah, it's a little difficult, but I do think there's something to, if you started like Bubba, Glover, Henley, yes, you're sacrificing win equity, but you can do that no matter what, even if you use Casey. I don't mind doing that. The question is just going to be, what are you really getting as the benefit for the last 3? Like, instead of getting guys in the high 6s, now you can get guys in the mid 7s. Are they that much better? That's something you have to weigh, because you want that extra salary to pay off.
Yes. It's funny. What you just described is actually when I did really well at Heritage that year and won the 20K. That's exactly the sort of lineup that I built. I just faded all the 10K guys, built my team of 9K guys. Now, at the time, the 9K guys were like Xander and Cantlay and guys like that, not Russell Henley. But there's so much water on this course where it doesn't necessarily come into play a lot, but you're going to see like one or two absolute ejections from people. And you just hope it's like Tony Finau, and then all of a sudden you're looking really good with those builds.
Yeah, and like obviously for you at Heritage, when you do that, what you want is someone like, well, in your case, Satoshi, like someone from off the reservation to win, because that kills the win equity up top. Obviously, that's priority number one when you build balanced is, of course, you want the winner, but if you don't get the winner, let it be, one of these main made up guys that nobody has. And then you really kind of are ahead of the game.
Yeah, much like when TPJ won at
Yeah, there
Pebble
you
Beach
go.
that year. I think like a 5 of 6 came in second in like the big $5 that week.
Yeah. And that's what you need when you build balanced a lot. Because if one of the big guys wins, you're completely dead.
Okay, 8K range. This is where it starts getting interesting because theoretically, I don't think that these guys are much worse than some of the 9K guys. So you have EVR, who is like the poster boy for the week. He's $8,800. Then you got the Doc Redmond. He's back in the office. He's 87. Norlander, everyone's boy. He's 86. Burns, List. Todd has withdrawn. He was 83. Then you got Patrick Rogers, Ryan Moore, and Brian Harmon. I bet EVR and I bet Doc Redmond. That might be good enough for me because these guys are going to be hilariously popular this week.
Mega chalk. Yeah, it's quite a range. I like Doc Redmond as well. Partially so let me ask you this. You got a lot of names here, and I know they're all going to garner interest. Do you think Norlander is going to be the most popular, or do you think EVR and Redmond creep up? Like, how do you think that falls?
I think that all three of those guys are going to be pretty evenly distributed. Like, it's funny. Like, I used Norlander for like 3 straight weeks, and then everyone was like, "Oh, you got to play this Norlander guy." I was like, "Well, fuck that. He's so popular. I'm not going to use him." Then I faded him 2 weeks in a row, and he has 2 best weeks ever. So
yeah, I mean, I was not there. I'm certainly not getting there this week. When I think about ownership, it's not to say it's not going to be there, but I try to visualize, the correlation. If you're playing those guys, how are you starting? Are you starting with DJ and they're your second man in? Are you double pairing them with someone like Finau? That's what I'm trying to explore so I can try to leverage them even within a lineup. It's just, to me, I don't see a huge difference between even just in the 8K range, the top and the bottom. Like, I'll take Patrick Rogers, Ryan Moore, and Brian Harmon, and roll the dice over EVR, Redmond, and Norlander if I had to.
I like Ryan Moore. I'm definitely using Ryan Moore this week, but to speak to the rest of the guys down in this range, like Max Homa is also $8,000. He kind of more fits the mold of what I'm looking for at this course. A guy who drives it a bunch, hits his irons really well, and can't really putt or chip. That's Max Homa, but that plays at this course, like at least from what we saw year one. The type of player that did really well was that type of player, or someone who just ran a hot putter. And like Max Homa's 3rd tee to green, 3rd in ball striking, 4th in approach, 8th off the tee. Like, he rates out really well. And there's going to come a point in time where people just get fucking fed up with him because he keeps missing cuts. He's missed 3 cuts in a row. That I don't think this is a terrible spot to go back to him. And I'm not quite sure what his ownership is going to be. And I don't really care. He's always popular because people love Max Homa, but doesn't this kind of feel like the week where he gets a bit overlooked? Like, I'm not using Patrick Rogers at all. Like, that seemed like use him at really hard courses seems to be the move with Patrick Rogers. And this, not going to be a super hard course.
No, yeah. I mean, he is just, I will say he has something I do like. If you look to I don't know, I call it the Wyndham Clark, which is like, he's good off the tee right now and he's just a super putter. Doesn't really do anything else good, but that's a weird combo that you don't see. I'm with you on Homa. I have no problem there. I'm with you on Moore. We obviously have to, and you've really toned down. Like, if I was on this show last year or a couple of years ago, like we'd be starting with Luke List. Are you just like not on? Have you given up on him permanently? He was good last week.
He was really good last week.
Like, really, really good.
I can't make heads or tails of what he's doing. Just like he wins on the Corn Ferry Tour, That's great. He comes back to Heritage, misses the cut. Goes to Travelers, misses the cut. 21st at Rocket Mortgage, that's great. Goes to Workday, where it's super like easy by comparison, misses the cut. It's super hard at Memorial, top 10. Like, he's become like Bizarro Luke List. I don't know what's going on with him.
It's really hard to gather. I mean, he gained across the board. We know off the tee is going to be strong, but everything was just fantastic. So I don't know what to make of it either. I'll say it again, I would bump down, or honestly, I'd go to Redmond. And then the last guy, I mean, we've mentioned it, but like Sam Burns is also there, who's a super scorer. I don't really have a strong take on him, but he's another guy that obviously can go crazy low.
So here's the one thing that if you really wanted to make like a correlated lineup like you like to do with different stats, I think one of the things that you could potentially go with is eagle rate. High variance on eagles. But there are guys by and large who just make a ton. Like Morikawa makes a ton of eagles. Now, he's not here, but we saw that really play itself out last year. Wolf is another one who makes a lot of eagles. So Sam Burns in this field over the past 50 rounds is 5th in eagle rate. It's not bad for Sam. Sorry, he's 11th in eagle rate. Luke List is 4th. Like, instead of going with EVR in Redmond, going with Burns in List, I mean, those guys are going to be used, but I don't think that they're going to be used a lot together, would be my guess.
That's the thing. That's one of the more important aspects of ownership is like, it's not just about, you know, if a guy is 25, and this would never happen, but in theory, like if someone's 25% owned, but they're 100% owned with another player, if you just don't use that other player, then you have that guy isolated. And that's something you can kind of think about. And I agree, pairing two guys in the mid-range that aren't the chalk is going to create a really different build. I will probably do that this week. I do things like that a lot. I think it's against the grain, and you have high volatility, which is what you want in these ranges.
Yeah, so are you just going full fade on Norlander again? Because I think I am, which means he's going to win.
If Norlander beats me, that'll be one more disturbing bullet point in my life. I can't go there off that. He's just to the premium right now.
So I like EVR, but I know that he's going to be incredibly popular. I'm thinking about going the full-on fade. And a lot of that has to do is I have a hedge out because I bet him to win this tournament, that if he wins, and listen, I'm going to be happy enough as it is. Maybe I'll end up using a little bit, but I'll go Doc, Moore, EVR, but I might turn those EVR shares into a combination of Burns and List or something like that. Or I'll just completely continue to fade this area.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is an area that you're like funneled into and you have to make some big stands. To tell you the truth, like at first glance here, I'm not looking to define my week with the 8Ks. Like I'll have some stabs. Norlander will probably be my most important priority in terms of not playing well. But other than that, I think this is not where I really want to make waves this week.
Okay, so if we drop down into the high 7K range, just looking at it right now, like this is a rough spot here.
Yeah, this is bad.
I like Scott Stallings.
He's strong.
Well, we know that.
Yeah, what do we got going on with Scott Stallings? Didn't play last week. This range is just like, I don't know. There's certain ranges every week where it's just like the most random guys thrown together. You got Will Gordon, you got RCB, Ortiz, Fratelli, Stallings. Like, there's a lot to unpack there. I don't mind it. I think this is a range to attack. You're not going to get a lot of ownership, and you have some guys that do have some upside that can crack this top 10, no doubt about it.
What do you do with Will Gordon? Like, is he the guy who played Travelers, or is he the guy who played Rocket Mortgage? 'Cause even at Rocket Mortgage, like, he kind of rallied. I think he still missed the cut, but he
tried. For me, I would blindly go to RCB. I know he's been bad, but I take long-term for him a lot more. Or even just like another Corn Ferry winner, Chris Kirk is there. Fratelli's, I think he had that 62, I want to say. He had that huge round a couple weeks ago. I'm not on Will Gordon. I just trying to distinguish which type of flyers. Your boy Si Woo is here, Straka. There's a lot of names with a lot of risk in this little range.
So when I look at the early ownership projections from fantasynational.com, use promo code Mayo, 20% off. Check these out. What do you think Rafa's projected ownership is right now?
3%.
1%.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I I'm not saying that Rafa is just going to play well this week because he's 1%, but you don't have to be right that often at that ownership for it to be a good spot. And this is a guy, he's certainly experienced now, even, plenty of experience on both tours. It's not just like, oh, he's coming over from Europe. I feel fine. He can get his irons dialed in. Needs to play better. There's no doubt about it. But 1% when you're next to Will Gordon and Carlos Ortiz, that's pretty easy buy for me.
I think people are going to be in on Ortiz this week. He's another guy who makes a ton of eagles.
Oh, yeah. He scores. He's got, we have a sample size of 1 year for course history. He was 5th. I get it. I just, again, with the pivots here, you mentioned Stallings. There are just so many guys that are coin flips against him. I'll probably just go to the other side of those.
Yeah, the one I'm really kind of digging at 7,500, I like Brennan Grace. He was a late add into the field, so no one's really considered him at all. I would expect him to come in with pretty low ownership, and the irons have started to be pretty good again.
Yeah, he got just a raw deal. He couldn't putt last week at Memorial, so he lost 4 strokes putting. That's not going to get it done. Normally, I would say Troy Merritt, but he also didn't look good. He did look good at Workday. What about, I'm just going to go $100 cheaper. What about Richie Werenski? He looked pretty good lately.
I think that people are going to be in on Werenski. It is. Well, he played well at Rocket Mortgage, and he just continues to prove himself at these low prices. And that's kind of the thing. Like, Werenski, despite the fact that he's played well, is usually listed around Norlander and Burns when it comes down to it. Like that's my hardest part with this mid 8K range is that there's guys down in this lower 7s that are like the same guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's all interchangeable. And when we go down, as we continue to go down, there's going to be guys at 6,800 that are also like that. I know they're not playing nearly as well, but these guys are all in flux. Charlie Hoffman is there. CH3 is there. That's definitely no for me. But this 7K range, I think, is the most difficult. But at the same time, this is where the tournament will be won, in my opinion.
Werenski has made every cut since the restart, 4 of 4. Putts better on bent, has gained over 3 strokes on approach in 2 of his past 4 tournaments, or 2 of his past 3, if you really want to whittle it down. It's just, he can get it going bad really quickly. And, all of these guys can. The Chuck Hoffman's a tough one, though, because all of a sudden he remembered how to drive the ball for the first time since before the restart. And that used to be his bread and butter. Like, he was an excellent ball striker, and then he lost the ability to drive the ball, but he got it back at Workday.
He did. Now, also, the putter came around at the same time, which is great. But you're right. Long term, off the tee was a strength, not a weakness. I'm sure I'll have some interest there because he's another volatile scorer. But man, then you look down and it's just like you've got you've got Christoph Ventura. I thought he would be like the min here. He's 73. That's a little much.
Not only is he $7,300, he is like 70 to 1 to win this tournament, and people are like, Christoph Ventura, he's the play. I feel bad talking a bunch of shit about Ventura. He's probably going to be like good this week. Like, I have nothing particularly against him. He just, in my mind, he just seems egregiously priced everywhere.
He is. I actually didn't. I looked at the, I dug in before I saw his price, and I actually was kind of interested, but how can I do that at 73? That's, I don't know if I can. You have Sam Ryder there. You've got a couple Euros. Wiesberger to me is very interesting coming off the missed cut. 72 I think is more than fair. And, again, people look at Memorial, which I don't really care what they did. That's a totally different animal.
Yeah, so the 2 guys that I have starred from this lower 7K range are the 2 you just mentioned. Sam Ryder, $7,300, Wiesberger at 72. Like, Wiesberger's the 29th ranked player in the world.
Yeah,
and
come on.
This is the sort of tournament that, like, Wiesberger has high volatility, even on the European tour. It's like win, miss, cut. And like, it doesn't matter how strong the field is, how weak the field is. It's either he shows up that week or he doesn't show up that week. But these are the types of tournaments that he wins. Easy tournaments where he shoots like -27.
Yeah, the Austrian secondary open, and it's just him and Joust shooting 50 under. He should feast here. I don't know why he wouldn't play well. Got some rust off last week, and now he's in a much weaker field, obviously. And then, I mean, have you ever seen a range more tailor-made for me? You got Wise, Griot, and Ben Martin, all 7,100. Just my paradise right here.
Ben Martin was inching up the Corn Ferry leaderboard last week. I turned it on because there's that like fake Denny McCarthy on the Corn Ferry Tour. I think it's like Dan McCarthy, but you see D McCarthy. It's like, is he playing in 2 tournaments at once? What's going on here? But then I saw B Martin. I was like, is that like the Ben Martin, or is it like Bernard Martin or something? And it turned out it was actually Ben Martin.
Bermuda Benny, he's back.
Not on Bermuda though.
No, there's some serious problems with the setup here. The other 2 are obviously interesting to me. I mean, I think Wise, if I had to pick, would be my favorite. Griot, I don't know how it's... I mean, then again, you did say it is true. Like, here, it doesn't really matter with the short game and the putter. It's just, how are you supposed to score when you can't gain anything with the, like, -3, -4 with the putter is pretty average at this point.
Yeah, it's just till he figures that out, it's too much. Like, he's going to spike one of these weeks, but until then, he's a money pit. Like, how much do you really want to continue to invest? Like, I'll take my lumps, and I'll probably just go with Kyle Stanley.
Oh yeah, listen, Kyle Stanley is, oh boy, he is one. I thought, not that he turned a corner, but after Travelers, I was just like, okay, bad at RBC Heritage, got it going. Now we see what's up. It was just not there at Rocket Mortgage, and he missed the cut at Workday too. So I get it. I mean, you got to donate somewhere in this range. For me,
you know where you're donating. Like, this really is your range because Seifert's at 7,000 too.
Oh yeah, no, and so is Schwab. Like,
okay, can you tell the people about Schwab? Because I think some people who don't pay attention to Euro may not be familiar with his work, but you're a big fan.
Huge fan. So yeah, he's another guy, young pedigree, Austrian, good ball striker, can get going. So far in what we've seen, the putter, and again, this is different over in Europe, and he has not done anything with the putter over here. He popped at WGC HSBC last year. He came in 4th in a WGC against obviously top end players, but this is a guy that certainly not going to overpower courses off the tee. I worry a little about how low he can go, but at the same time, I do think he's just a better player than most of the guys in this range. Zhingzhu Zhang is here.
Are you saying that you're not a member of the Zhang gang?
Am I not? I mean, like I said, anyone who's going to try to cheat is good in my book, because that can only help your guys. But he's also, I have one every single week. There is always a guy on Saturday that I'm looking at the leaderboard and I'm just like, didn't know he was in the tournament till Saturday. Like, I just looked up. Zhingzhu Zhang is just kind of doing his thing at Memorial. So he's got that going for him that people may not realize he's even here till it's Saturday.
That's always a good thing, though.
Yeah, well, very sneaky. Like, how are you supposed to play a guy that you didn't know was around? I'm going to go to some of these guys that, again, Schwab didn't show anything last week. That's all right. Seifert is here doing his thing. I worry a little that he's, the time to play him was obviously in this last little run where he popped. I don't know how much he can continue, but I at least have to consider it after that performance.
He has yet to lose strokes on approach in any tournament in 2020.
Yeah, because he knows what he's doing. This guy is the best Florida State player on tour these days.
Can you play low Seminole? Take him over Brooks?
I should. Berger's not here. Get out of here. God. Michael Thompson, no. Adam Long, I looked at quite a bit, and then I just gave up. I thought he was getting something going. I still think it's possible, but there's just too many guys. You don't want to spread yourself too thin here.
No, and Adam Long has the backing of one Tim Andercust for reasons unknown.
How did he arrive there? I'd be very interested to hear about that.
He watched him make that putt against Phil Career Builder last year, and he's like, this guy is amazing. He beat Phil. So he's on Team Adam Long for life. Just thinks he's an amazing player. Tim actually did pick Bubba this week.
Okay, that's good to know. Maybe I will roll those shares to Glover. Yeah, this is like I said, but the point that you brought up before still stands. Is there really that big a difference between these guys and the guys that we already talked about? A little up. You're getting like $1,000 difference, and this all interchangeable at this point to me.
So Stanley, Ryder, Wiesberger, and Seifert, I think for me in this spot. Maybe I can be talking to someone else. I think I'm going to really try to hammer down on that Rick strategy of having like 3 guys at the top and then like scatter shot the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it only takes, it's like a rolling 2v2 or rolling 3v3. If you feel really confident up top, it's easier to spread at the bottom, especially in a tournament like this, because, I know we've seen it's been 6 tournaments and 6 very, I don't want to say obvious winners, but very reasonable winners. You could have someone from the clouds this week. I wouldn't be stunned to see a first-time winner or a guy that people don't even know who he is win.
Well, that was kind of like Rocket Mortgage, where Bryson, the overwhelming favorite, goes head-to-head with Wolf, and Wolf was, what, like 100-1?
Yeah, he was, I mean, way out there. And this just, there are too many guys that don't have great pedigrees that are going to be live in this tournament just because there's not that many big name players.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So $6,000 range. Uline's down here. Duffner. Everyone seems to like Keith Mitchell besides me this week.
No, but besides us, absolutely not.
But he had a good week at Memorial.
Yeah, that'll save him. Yeah, no, he gained 4 strokes putting, so if he does that, he'll probably be good again. Just no. So now I know he's going to coffin me, but I'd rather play Shank. I'd rather play Uline. Scott Harrington is a person who made an eagle on Sunday, which I thought was a miracle in itself.
So did Sergio. Sergio made an eagle, I think.
Yeah, that was when I said to May, we did it. Patrick Reed is surging. Sergio's making eagles from the woods. This is my moment. Spoiler alert, wasn't my moment. So what are you going to do? Obviously, I know he's down a couple, but the answer is Charles.
I kind of like Charles as well. I might end up like betting him 175-1, but for whatever reason, like he figured out how to drive the ball last week, which was shocking. Now it was only 2 rounds, but he had been so bad off the tee that the irons have been good. The putting, like this guy's won the Masters. Like he can putt on bent grass, like okay. I think that if he can keep up these irons, like he should be pretty good.
He should. And he battled last week. He just put up too many gigantic numbers on Friday. He was making triples all over the place. The stat, you're talking he's going to be 1% owned. I have no, give me him over most of these guys. There's nothing down here. So you just want to look at anything. I mean, Harry Higgs is down here, so that's useful, but I don't see a lot that you could feel confident in. And this is the whole tournament in a nutshell. If you are pairing 2 above 10K, you're going to be forced down here. Who do you take?
I would wager that people are taking Chesson Hadley, who I do like this week, but I ran the key stats that I wanted and then sorted from restart on. So now we actually have a sample of 6 tournaments, and Hadley is 3rd in this field for me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I see that. I really do. You're going to need possibly multiple. And I have no problem with him. I just don't know exactly who else you can even feel great with down here. You've got, I think people are looking at Hagee because he's such a ridiculous scorer and driver and he's putting well. But again, I'm not sure I'm really there with a guy like that.
So I got Hadley. I got Bryce Garnett, who's playing a lot better. Yeah. Chucky Schwartzel. Okay, can we have a conversation about Cameron Percy or Cam Davis for that matter?
Yeah, give me all the Australian Camerons, sure.
Can we just combine them into one? Like, if we combine them into one player, I feel like that player would be really good.
They would be really good, yeah. I mean, Cam Davis, I don't really understand. Honestly, it's definitely my fault. Like, I played him through swing season. He was awful. Then I gave up, and he was dominant. And then I started post-break, and he's been bad again. He needs to get off the tee. He found something. He had gained in 7 straight tournaments, and then not that it's been bad, but it's regressed a little bit. I think this is a good spot for Cam Davis, though. He's 6,500. This is where I thought Ventura would be priced, down with these guys. I have no problem going to a couple flyers here. I know you before the show you mentioned Roger Sloan. I could see that as well.
I just don't understand what Sloan does well. I see him on a leaderboard. Like, how the fuck is Roger Sloan up there? Does he just make like all of his putts one day and then makes the cut?
Yeah, he's another one. I'll be honest. Like, it'll be Saturday. It's like, oh, Roger Sloan's in 7th. Like, just didn't even know he was here. The stats don't bear much out. I mean, God, his irons. This is a little suspect, but boy, it's just not. You don't have many options. If you're forced down here, there's no way to take guys that don't have some glaring red flags.
Are you surprised that Will Gordon is 66-1 to win this tournament and Bernd Wiesberger is 90-1 to win this tournament?
Yes, that would be surprising to me and disturbing. How is that even?
Okay. In these like crappy field events, the Fantasy National Simulator tends to do pretty well. I don't know how it's been like affected by the restart with these kind of fields, but it loves Von Taylor. It actually loves Ventura too. Shank and Tigala. Those are like the 6K guys it likes.
Do you know anything about this Tigala guy?
It's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, that's what everyone told me the last couple times when he was swiftly cut. I haven't played him yet, and it's certainly been going fine. Even now, I'd rather play Seamus. I'd rather play anybody almost that at least I have. Like Kramer Hickok at like 0.1%. If I had to, I would rather do than some of these guys where they legitimately have never even made a cut on tour.
I'm just trying to find who people are going to down in this range. Early leans suggest Davis, Percy, and Power, Swafford, Hadley, and that's kind of it.
I mean, the crazy thing is there's legitimately like, I don't know, 40 players lower than any guy we've mentioned. There are so many names down there.
Okay, how about this? Former PGA Tour winner at Quail Hollow, 54-hole leader on the Corn Ferry Tour last week, Ben. Derek Ernst.
Derek Ernst. Okay, now we're getting into the real. He won at Quail Hollow. When was that?
2013 or something.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't know what I was doing, but it wasn't this. Okay, yeah,
he bombs it. Like he's an absolute masher off the tee.
There's some guys down here, I'm not going to lie. There's Vincent Whaley, Hank Lebioda. It's amazing that Kevin Tway is down here and he's just unplayable.
Well, Kevin Tway withdrew as well.
Oh, so now honestly, I like him a little more. The way he's been playing.
You got like two gloves. Tommy is down here. He's going to be searching for some deals around the course probably. I followed around Martin Trainer at this course last year. He was all over the place. Like Tom Lehman's playing. I think he made the cut last year. He's like 90 years old.
Yeah, no, Tom Lehman, he was hanging around the other week. Don't play him, people.
Your boy Angus Flanagan?
Yeah, I got his cup right behind me. Flanagan's great ribs. Don't know who that is. There's Canadians down here. Brooks's brother is down here. All right, I have one name for you. Not that I'm saying to play him, but man, Doug Gim was someone that I thought had a real chance, to be a guy that we saw regularly on tour and do some things, and it's just been awful. Since that, I don't even know when he was good. At one point, he was pretty good, though.
The Gim Reaper?
Yeah, the Gim Reaper.
He was awesome at the Masters that one year.
Yeah, you remember every time they would go to him, he would just eagle.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, that guy's got an eagle streak. And now he used up all of it there. And Tyler McCumber is down here. He's the guy that...
No, I used Tyler McCumber like 2 weeks ago. Don't do that.
Okay, yeah, idea. I mean, listen, this is the drawback. Unless you think that this is going to be like a battle between like Brooks and DJ, I'm pretty sure you don't want to go this low.
Probably not, but I will because I can't help myself.
Oh, the DJ is here. What about him?
Who?
Trahan. DJ Trahan.
Oh, DJ Trahan's down here? He loves birdies.
Yeah, that guy scores like a banshee.
Since the restart, if we're looking at eagle rate, Lovemark, Lebioda, and Vince Whaley. Vince Whaley. was thinking of Watley, the dentist from Seinfeld. But
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Tim Watley's in the field. I wouldn't be surprised.
those three guys are all top 10 in eagle rate since the restart. And then, like, did you see my thing about the Rocket Mortgage leaderboard this year and the 3M leaderboard from last year? And they were like weirdly similar.
I remember, obviously when Wolf and Bryson were battling. Yeah, I mean, what do you take from that?
I don't know, but like Chris Baker, the birdie maker, he played like okay, and he's $6,400. Like, he's not a bad player. I just looked at more into Ernst. He was 5th last week in the 54-hole leader. The week before he was 12th, and then at Colorado on the Corn Ferry Tour the week before he was 10th.
So this is a situation truly with a lot of these guys. We're gonna have to look at what they did at on the Corn Ferry side. I don't do that too often, but with this field, I'm gonna have to make an exception because I can't tell. A lot of these guys, it looks like they haven't played, but that's not true. They've just been playing elsewhere.
So here are some names that did well at Rocket Mortgage that are in the field. You got Coco Beware, the Birdman, Tom Lewis. I wish Mark Hubbard would have played. Ventura. Where's Lonto this week? Like, he'd be like 10K.
Yeah, he would. 10K, 8-1. Yeah, where's Munoz?
I don't know.
Yeah, like, these are the guys, they blew it.
Yeah,
they
like
should have.
Shank, Burns, Swafford, Haggy, Stallings. Like, these are all the guys.
My God. This is going to be, I'm very excited. Ooh, Jonathan Bird. That's another guilty pleasure of mine. Guy plays like twice a year, and I always play him. He was good at Rocket Mortgage, too.
Yeah. Oh, well, the 6K range sounds like a lot of fun. It'll probably be like Hadley and Garnett and Chuck Schwartzel for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try to stay at least in the upper sixes where I have some more data and I've seen some of these guys play, and I can take a skill set, whether it's a strong driver or maybe a guy who can get going with the irons. I'm not sure I want to dig super deep with a full man field. Getting these guys through the cut is going to be incredibly difficult.
I'm going to put a star next to Baker. Not because I want to play him, but I want to figure out some more about Chris Baker first. $6,400. Neither have I. Maybe now's the time. I need the Will Gordon of the week. I want to ask you about Showdown very briefly because I was trying to figure out. Like, at some moment on Sunday, I felt like what you kind of went through. I was like, man, my Showdown team is looking really good. I had Zhang, Siwoo, Reed, Fitzpatrick, but instead of playing Rahm, I played Rory. Like, if Rahm has a 4-stroke lead and you get those 13 bonus points, do you have to play him?
No, I don't think you have. So again, are you talking about specifically like last week in the sense that it was going to play so hard?
Yeah, because it's going to play so hard. He's like has a 75% chance to win at that point. He's 4 strokes up, and knowing like just being able to like, I think it played harder than I expected it to play, but I expected it to be hard, knowing that there was going to be a lot of over par scoring. That are those bonus points just worth locking in if you think he's going to win?
Yeah, in that situation, normally I'm not on that. I think sometimes people, at like a birdie fest, they're like, well, you got to take the winner, and it's maybe, but if they have a big lead, they could shoot around even, and actually, that's only a couple birdies to make up. But in something like last week, I also, I thought Rahm was gonna win, so that made it a lot easier. I would lock him in and then, try to nail those chasers. Now, I wouldn't have thought it was Fitzy, but I get how that, could have shown up. And your boy, Carl, I thought of you, honestly, when Carl Pedersen was like just torching the course while everyone else was 10 over.
Yeah, Xander and the Swedish Porn King. Those are the two guys.
Just how they drew it up.
How did McGirt make the cut?
I told you, I did I have no idea. I was shocked. I had tweeted that out. I was stunned he was in the field, and then I had a million messages being like, "Why are you going to McGirt?" I didn't, and I wouldn't have. Yet he did make the cut somehow.
And he wasn't even the min price. Was the craziest part about it. He had played one tournament in 3 years.
I had so many questions and no answers.
All right.
Yet Ricky can't make the cut.
No.
But that's another show for another time.
Ben Rasa, let everyone know what's going on over at awesemo.com.
Yeah, we are getting ready. Baseball, basketball, all the sports are coming back. You'll see me a little over there. I'll still be mostly doing golf. But the team is ready. New tools, new projections, ownership, everything. Come on in. Promo code. I do have a promo code, RESTART. You get half off your first month of Awesemo for all the sports. It's not just golf. You can get everything. We want everyone in there. Great time to come on board.
All right. Ben Rasa. Follow him on Twitter at JazzRazDFS. You can follow me at ThePME, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I should be doing a Millionaire Maker Ticket giveaway on my Twitter account, noon Eastern on Wednesday. So check that out. Live chat, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday with myself. And you can go vote in that movie bracket. It's up right now, too. You can find that on my Twitter page at the PME. Thank you all for watching. Become a member at Fantasy National. Like the episode and rate and review the podcast. Cheat sheet will be up on DKNation.com later on Tuesday evening. Go check out all the shows we've already done. Good content out there. Anyway, I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!